He didn't just kill her, he documented it, ate her flesh, and walked free. This is the case of Issei Sagawa, the Paris Cannibal, a man whose unspeakable crime shocked the world, and yet he faced no prison, no trial, no justice. Issei Sagawa was not born into chaos. He was born into comfort. The son of a wealthy industrialist in post-war Kobe, Japan, Sagawa grew up surrounded by art, culture, and privilege. Yet inside, something was broken. He was born prematurely, underdeveloped, and frail. Doctors doubted he would survive. From the beginning, he felt alien, smaller, weaker, less human. He described himself as a shrimp, grotesque and inferior. As a child, he began to notice women. Not just their beauty, but something deeper, something carnal. The fantasy began not with love, but with consumption. He wanted to devour them, not metaphorically, literally. By adolescence, his notebooks were filled with violent images, drawings of dismemberment, notes on flesh. By university, he had already formed a preference. Tall, Western women with light skin. He felt invisible around them, and obsessed with the idea of claiming them. He saw beauty as something he would never possess unless he took it inside himself. He once wrote, "I want to eat her. If I do, she'll live on inside me." In 1977, he acted on his fantasies. A German woman he met in Tokyo. He followed her home, slipped inside with a knife. His hands shook as he approached her sleeping body, but before he could strike, she woke, screamed, fought him off. She survived. Sagawa was arrested, but this was Japan, and his father was powerful. The charges were quietly dropped. The woman left the country. The incident vanished. There were no consequences, no therapy, no watch lists, and no one asked if he'd try again. Shortly after, his family sent him abroad, to Paris. A fresh start, a new identity, a different world. But he brought the darkness with him. In Paris, Sagawa enrolled at the Sorbonne to study comparative literature. He spent his days reading in cafes, his nights wandering bookstores. But his real interest wasn't language, it was the women. Tall, blonde, free in ways he couldn't comprehend. He stalked, watched, fantasized. One night, he approached a Dutch student, Renée Hartevelt, and asked for help with his German. She agreed. Polite, kind, patient. She had no reason to be afraid. She even came to his apartment. Over time, their sessions became regular. She brought poetry. He brought wine. But in his mind, she was already dead. He purchased a camera, then a knife, then the rifle. On June 11, 1981, he invited her over again. She sat at his table, reading softly, her back turned. He pulled the trigger. She slumped forward in her chair, and the room went silent. Sagawa sat with her body for hours, staring, photographing, touching. He described it later with the calm of a man recounting a painting. No rage, no panic, just curiosity. He began with the buttocks, then the thighs, cutting carefully, methodically. He cooked some pieces, ate others raw. He said her flesh melted in his mouth. He described it as beautiful. He documented everything, each slice, each bite, photographs, tape recordings. It was, he claimed, not an act of evil, but of love. I wanted to keep her with me, to take her soul, to be her. He slept beside the corpse. Then, when the smell grew unbearable, he cut the rest of her into pieces and packed them into 2 suitcases. On June 13th, Sagawa hailed a taxi and asked to be taken to the Bois de Boulogne, a wooded park on the outskirts of Paris known for its still ponds and late-night visitors. He dragged the heavy suitcases into the dark. He never noticed the man watching from across the clearing. The man saw the cases, the blood seeping from the seams. He called the police. When officers arrived, they found Sagawa still standing near the water, unsure whether to run. He didn't resist. He simply said, "Yes, it's me. I killed her. I wanted to eat her." The case shocked France. The Japanese student who had dined on a woman's flesh in the heart of Paris became an international headline. But what came next was even more surreal. Sagawa was declared legally insane by French psychiatrists, unfit to stand trial. He was placed in a psychiatric hospital just outside Paris. There, he was treated not as a killer, but as a patient. He was never tried, never sentenced. A year later, Japanese authorities requested his extradition. France agreed, assuming Japan would prosecute him. But once Sagawa returned to Tokyo, Japan found no grounds to hold him. There was no French conviction, and under Japanese law, he couldn't be retried. In 1986, he walked free. No trial, no prison, just silence. What followed defies belief. Instead of retreating into shame, Sagawa leaned into the spotlight. He wrote books, autobiographical accounts of the murder, filled with lurid details. He appeared on talk shows, grinning, soft-spoken, calm. He acted in adult films, gave interviews, illustrated manga. He became a twisted celebrity. Japan and much of the world seemed obsessed. He wasn't shunned, he was watched. When asked if he regretted killing Renée Hartevelt, he would smile and say, "I understand it was wrong, but the desire never left me." He said he still fantasized about eating women every single day. Renée Hartevelt was 25, fluent in German, French, and English, a promising scholar with dreams of diplomacy. Her friends described her as luminous, patient, incredibly kind. In the aftermath of her murder, her family withdrew from public life. Their grief was overshadowed by the monster who took her. No justice, no trial, no reckoning. She became a footnote in her own story, erased by the infamy of the man who destroyed her. Sagawa spent his final years sick, poor, and abandoned. After a massive stroke, he could no longer walk or speak. He lived alone in a nursing home outside Tokyo, feeding through tubes. He died in 2022. There were no protests, no ceremony, no final reckoning, only the echo of a woman's final breath, trapped forever in an apartment on Rue Erlanger. And the unsettling truth that sometimes monsters do walk free. Sometimes they are fed, and sometimes the loudest sound is silence.